Look what we got here, guys. First shed of the season. And I'm wondering if that's the other half of Lucky 13. Nope, I don't think so. Nice 5-point. He'll be good next year. All right, just found that one shed right there in that grass patch. And just right up here, not even 20 yards away. I don't know if you can see it right up there. Now that is the other half of Lucky 13. Yep. Well, you know what? I'm thinking that is the match set of 13, Lucky 13. Right there. I think I found him. All right, just been out here for a half hour on my lunch hour. Set up some trail cameras over some of these main trails. And the trails I'm walking are the ones that I use my Onyx map to trace all the heavy deer trails when there was lots of snow on the ground. Made it real easy to see where they were at. And in order to find the sheds, you got to be where the deer were. So best way to find out where the deer were traveling is when there's snow on the ground. That way when it melts, you know right where to walk and where to look for them. So half hour, got the matching set to Lucky 13. Couldn't be any happier. So I'm going to head back to work. And then it's supposed to be a fairly nice weekend. We're going to get out again. And we're just going to start combing those trails that I had previously marked. So I'll keep you updated on how we do and the number of sheds we find. Perfect kind of trail I like to mark when there's still snow on the ground. Comes down right off a steep bank. Good place to find them dropping sheds. So I'll have this trail marked and keep an eye on it. Hey, what's up everybody? Springtime here. We are in the coming up on the second week of March and out doing a little shed hunting. I've been out here walking around for probably about a half hour so far, and I have just spotted my first shed. Just a little 5-point, nothing real big, but it's a start. Now I found this shed on a trail that I've previously marked when I was out here earlier in February when we still had a bunch of snow on the ground. And I'm hoping today to give you some tips or suggestions and maybe how to find more sheds and help you out. I'll give you an example here. Okay, this is my Onyx map, and those are all the trails I walked this winter when there was still a bunch of snow on the ground, and I was following all their main deer trails. And then whenever I'd come up on a bedding area, I'd mark it, like that blue dot there, that's a bedding area. This light blue dot is a early season I'd call it early season feeding area. It's where the first grasses start to emerge when the snow melts. And as you can see, that blue dot right there is where we are at and where I found that shed. And you can tell it's right off of one of the main trails in between the bedding and that early grass. So take advantage of that snow in the wintertime. Get out before they start dropping their sheds and start walking and mapping those heavy trails. And where they're traveling, you know, that's where you're going to find the sheds, because if they're not in that area, neither are their sheds. So that's one tip so far. Get out there and map those trails early. Find those bedding areas. Find the early feed spots. Real easy to tell in that heavy snow where they're traveling. Mark them down. And then come shed hunting time, start checking those areas out. Hopefully we can find some more sheds this morning. I know there's been some other groups in here shed hunting, so it might be tough, but we'll see what we can find. All right, finally came across shed number 2, and it's at another tip area. Another area I like to look at is, I don't know, with the sun, I don't know if you can see it, but fence crossings. You can see I got a nice trail coming right up there, and just off to the side found another shed. Looks like he would have been a nice 5-point. Looks like he's got one tine broke off, so yeah, not too bad. Yep, but another good area, so always check these fence rows. Look for their fence crossings. Well, you know, the other thing I really love about going out shed hunting when the weather gets nice, you know, and looking over your hunting area, looking for new places maybe to put up stands. It's just some of the weirdest things you can find in the woods. You know, like, who would ever thought you could find a big old pontoon boat sitting in the woods? How this thing got here, I have no idea. They must have been focusing on some of them big wood bass or grass carp or something. I don't know. All right, just started another day of shed hunting, and 5 minutes into it, got my first shed. Would have been a nice little 8-point. Off to a good start. This one here has just been found right in a row of evergreens where they like to bed down, get out of the wind. So check out windbreaks. Another good spot to find them. All right. Now this is what you do not want to find when you're out shed hunting. Oh, it's unfortunate. If someone shot them, they didn't find them. All right, just found one more, and there we go. Not a bad 4-point. It's got some good mass, but not very tall. And this one, it's hard to tell, but that is off another heavily used trail that I had marked previously when we had a bunch of snow on the ground. But right here you can't tell it, but you really can't tell that this is a heavy used trail. But when the snow was on the ground, yeah, this was well packed down, so that's why those heavy trails don't always show up after that snow melts, so especially in grassy areas. Now if it's dry and dirt, you know, you'll see the mud trails, but if it's grassy, you're not going to see them, so follow those main trails. Yep, just found another one. Just happened to catch it out of the corner of my eye. That one looks like that one might be a year old. Pretty bleached out, chewed on, so I probably walked by this one 2-3 times already. Gotta keep your eyes open. Alright, well, if you've enjoyed this video so far and gotten anything out of it, go ahead and please hit that like button for me. I'd greatly appreciate it. As you've seen, one of the tips I had was mapping the heavy trails. That's probably the #1 thing I like to do, is go out when there's plenty of snow on the ground, walk all those trails. It's real easy to see all the bedding areas, those early grass patches that they like to feed in. Mark those bedding areas, mark the feeding areas, mark all that, so once the weather does get nice and the snow melts, you'll know where to go. Trail cameras, you heard me mention something about that at the very beginning, but I didn't really go into it. And I like to set up trail cameras in different locations, and then that will let you know if the bucks are still holding the racks or if they've lost them all. Because if it gets into March and you think they've all shed, you know, you can easily see on your trail cameras, you know, if one comes by with a shed or a rack still on his head, you know, there's still more yet to be found. So I like to run trail cameras. Kind of gives me an idea of when they're done shedding. Fence rows, another very good spot. You never know when, you know, they jump those fences or try and go underneath of them. That a lot of times will knock some sheds off and makes it an easy place to find them. The bedding areas, you know, when you're out marking those, you know, a lot of times, especially late winter, you know, it still can be some pretty brutal cold nights, so they like to bed down a lot of times in either real tight thickets or in patches where the sun's going to be shining. So that's a good spot to find them also. And then to go along with that, another area that I like to concentrate on is those south-facing slopes. When that sun starts shining, that's where the snow is going to melt the first and expose that grass, so they'll gives them an easy feed to reach instead of having to dig through the snow. So I, in the past, have found multiple sheds in a very small location, all in that tall grass that has been exposed first. So check out those, what I call early feeding grass patches. Binos is another thing. I always like to carry a pair of binos with me. If you're not on an ATV and you're putting it in on foot, you know, all the miles on foot, find them. When you hit those great big pastures or cornfields, bean fields, you know, instead of trying to walk them back and forth, just scan them with your binos, and you'll be amazed at how many you can find out there in those fields. And so, yeah, those are probably my 6 main tips I can give you to help increase your odds of finding sheds. You know, the biggest one like I said, the biggest one I like to do is map all those early season trails, bedding areas. Makes it a lot easier to find them. And I think I had about 7 hours of looking in, and I don't think I did too bad considering there's been several other guys in there before me. So, hope you found this helpful. And if you've ever seen any of my videos in the past, you've heard me talk about Lucky 13, which was also that very first matching set I found. And to give you a good idea what he really looked like, you know, that there would be lucky 13. So, pretty nice deer. Can't wait to see what he looks like this fall. And hopefully he'll stay in the same area, and hopefully I can get to him first, because I know there's other people that know of him and have seen him. So we'll see who gets to him first. So hope you guys found this helpful, and we'll probably see you soon in the turkey woods. So thanks a lot, guys.